Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Path to Success with CSLX 2.0 by AIESEC in University of Moratuwa. With our partners in the industry, we strive to improve the knowledge and professional skills of undergraduates island-wide. Throughout the next few days, you will all have the chance to polish your abilities and also the invaluable opportunity to identify career opportunities. And through that, you can gain an insight into the industrial world. So we kick off our proceedings with the Creative Software Day. This evening, we are all set to conduct a pair of sessions on opportunities with creative software and developing your own venture. This is brought to us by the Platinum Partner of Connect CS 1.0, Creative Software. Established in 1999, Creative Software is a pioneer and leader in Sri Lanka's software industry. They specialize in establishing and managing dedicated teams of software engineers for international clients, providing software development, quality assurance, technical support, and enterprise application management services. Creative Software also supports and invests in promising tech startups and budding young entrepreneurs, which so far have resulted in products that have gone on to win international awards. Creative Software supports local universities through internships, sponsorships, establishment of student labs and consultations, and much more. They give back to the community through various CSR activities, the main one being Little Hearts, a fundraising project aimed at building a cardiac and critical care center for young children. Creative is also a Microsoft Gold partner, and the company has over 250 employees serving clients in Scandinavia, USA, Australia, and Sri Lanka. To get a brief idea about Creative Software, please watch this short video.
It began 20 years ago. Two people and a dream that offered a myriad of possibilities. Today, that dream has grown into reality. One that includes more than 700 highly skilled software professionals working in multiple associated companies. Launched in 1999, Creative Software is one of Sri Lanka's pioneering software development companies. Our success story is one of steady expansion and development. For 2 decades now, we have been engaged in delivering world-class software products, creating the future of enterprise software with solutions that adapt and evolve along with the world we live in. Our technology has helped people live safer, healthier, better lives, offering them recourse to the services they need the most. We have transformed businesses, simplified lives, increased benefits, and improved accessibility. Today, Creative Software work for clients around the world and across a wide variety of sectors, from construction, logistics, manufacturing and retail, to finance, healthcare, mobile workforce, telecommunications, hospitality, mining, and education. Creative Software is proud to contribute close to 3 billion Sri Lankan rupees in export revenue to the country on an annual basis. Creative Software believes in creating an environment in which its team members can flourish not just professionally but personally, with a working atmosphere that includes spaces for reflection and relaxation, flexible working hours, regular team building activities, professional development and training programs, and a strong commitment to encouraging a healthy work-life balance. It is no surprise that many of our team members now count 10 years or more with the Creative Software family. Retaining and attracting the best is a priority for Creative Software. With this in mind, the company invests in regular university outreach programs. With a focus on moulding the software professionals of tomorrow, we opened 2 R&D centres at NSBM Green University Town and another in-house with the University of Colombo School of Computing. We are committed to aligning with global trends, Our R&D Centre for AI, Machine Learning and Deep Learning provides an ideal platform for the younger generation to enhance their skills. The company also carries out a range of mentoring and research programs, as well as internships, career days, and the recently launched and very popular Creative Sixes, the first inter-IT faculty cricket tournament in Sri Lanka. All of our university engagement initiatives are designed to take talented students direct to the global marketplace and postings with our eminent international clientele. At Creative Software, we look back proudly on 20 years of unprecedented growth as one of Sri Lanka's pioneers in software exports. And we look to the future with confidence in our people, our philosophy, and in the limitless potential of what we have to offer.
So now, to start off our first session, please welcome Ms. Surangi Sangarapillai. She has over 18 years of working experience in business development, e-commerce, graphic design, and marketing in Australia and Sri Lanka. She is the Director of Marketing and Communications at Creative Software and has completed her higher education from the Manchester Metropolitan University. Once again, a warm, big welcome, and over to you, madam.
Thank you, Inuka, and welcome to all of you. I hope you all are keeping well at this time. And although many of you would be too young to get the vaccine, I'm hoping when it's available, you will do so and help us get over this big hurdle we all are facing, right? Okay. Now, after that introduction to creative, I really don't know how much I have to say about it. But this is an invitation from us to you to be a part of the present that defines the future. And let me tell you a little bit about creative. And we have over 2 decades of a story with big names that you would know, Boeing, Microsoft, and companies like Cambio, which you may not be familiar, but are a big player in the healthcare sector in Scandinavia. So starting in 1999 through to now, we have worked with many leaders in different sectors. The company was formed by 4 entrepreneurs, most of them leaders in the sector, who started companies like IFS in Sri Lanka, and with that experience decided to venture on into creating creative software. Now, we have an immensely experienced leadership in Sushena Ranatunga and Jonas Bridgewater, and they run our daily operations. Both of whom in our flat structure of work are very accessible to you if you were to work at Creative Software. Now, we have some of our team here. Chatura, who you would hear from a little later, is one of our software engineering directors. And together you probably might know one of the faces, Dino Pereira. He's the funny man in Dino and Block, who also works for us. And we manage about 700 employees for our as a part of a group. And for Creative Software, we have over 250 software engineers who we actually manage in-house. We work across the globe, in Europe, in the US, in Australia, and we have some of the world leaders, you may or may not know some of these names, but across the construction, hospitality, logistics, healthcare sectors, and we have had the opportunity of developing great technology to enable various wonderful things that make the world go around. Now, later on, I would hand over to Chhatra to give you some insight on some of the clients that we work with and what sort of projects and opportunities you would have if you were to consider working at Creative. Now, these are some of the clients that I would like to just highlight. We have this client Cognite, who Chhatra will mention later on, and then Pagero. We have had a long-standing customer, and Dips, which also have been with us for a long time from Scandinavia. We work across a multitude of technology, and depending on your interests, there is invariably a chance that you would have a spot with us. Moving on to what would interest you as a potential intern or a potential candidate working at Creative, I would say, beside the technology, is what kind of workplace it is. And at Creative, we have a mentoring culture. And I have been part of Creative in various forms as a consultant and now as an employee. And over the years, I've seen people mature and grow into their shoes, into leading teams because of this culture. And I invite you to explore more, ask us questions about how you can be part of this, this great culture. Now, one of the big ways Creative moves in the industry is by inputting into students like you across the tech sector, sharing knowledge. When we had the ability, hosting you in our company, offering internships and various activities, including sponsorship, to enable you to have a good understanding of what working in the tech sector is, right? And with you in particular, we have started an autonomous car project, which has had great strides, and we're hoping to probably do some more exciting things in the future with it. Again, Chhatra is the one managing that on our end, and he would be able to give you some exciting input on what we're doing there. So as you know, we are into investing in the future of technology, which is you. And we have worked together in different ways with different universities to enable this. And one of the things that we did with the University of Colombo was to have an R&D center in-house. And this part, I think I'm just going to hand over to Chhatra now to continue and tell you a little bit, because it is to do with your university.
Yeah, so thanks, Surangi, and welcome everyone. And so as Surangi just mentioned, we engage with a lot of universities, not only University of Moratuwa, but also with some other universities as well, and do a lot of exciting projects with students and interns. So this is one of our projects, which is a really really great project and a very ambitious project. You know, thinking about self-driving cars to a country like us, it's a very ambitious project, of course. but we planned for this in early last year, and then engaged with or rather partnered with the University of Moratuwa and the Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering to do this 5-year long program to build a level 4 autonomous car or a self-driving car. And our plan is to engage 5 groups of final year students in doing this project. And of course, like you may have heard, that already the first group of students completed their first year, or rather their first year of this program, but their final year projects with us being a part of this program. And then now the second year, or rather the next batch of students are engaging with us in pursuing, or rather proceeding with this program into the second year. So what we are building here is, as I told, self-driving car, but inside the program we are focusing on several different projects. So if I categorize them, there are 4 different project types. One is localization, and the next one is static object detection, and then dynamic object detection, and finally maneuvering and path planning and maneuvering. That's the 4th project type of project. So each group of students, or rather in each year, we proceed in all these 4 projects with 4 different teams. So that's the idea behind the entire program. So far in the first year, we actually had a lot of challenges due to COVID, but we still managed to achieve quite a lot, although we had to cut down the
Chatra may have some difficulties with his internet, so maybe I will take over and continue, and when he's back he can tell you a little more about the autonomous car project and what he's doing with your university. So we have a few other product and service companies, including what you saw, Q+. Chatra, are you back?
Yes, Surangi, I'm back. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I don't know. Maybe I lost my connection. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so as I told, there are 3 more years to go. So we welcome you all. I don't know in which year. I mean, maybe you are from all over the place. You are not only final year students, I believe. So you will get the chance to involve in this interesting project and the program, of course, if you are willing to do that. So that's, yes. So that's, I think, a high level overview about the program. Of course, if you have any questions, specific questions, you can always speak to us and get to know more information about it later.
Thank you, Chatra. So I'll just continue. We don't really have much more to say. We do, as I said, do work with other universities as well. We have our R&D center at NSBM as well. And as the host mentioned, a big part of us is giving back, and Little Hearts is spearheaded by our director, Srina Ranadunga, and we have been actively focusing on getting this heart hospital for kids who are born with issues with their heart, and it's something very close to creative, and hopefully we can see this through to reality with, of course, the help of the government and many other contributors who have sacrificed to get this through. So that's a little bit about the company. I'll just play a video of some of the fun activities our kids get to. So just in 30 seconds, how fun would it be right now? Of course, going to the grocery store seems the most amount of fun we're going to have for a while. But another exciting thing right now is when we eventually get out of our homes and are able to get to a workplace, we have designed a beautiful employee-centric work facility in Colombo for our staff and, of course, interns. We have a full-fledged play area, which I don't know is such a good idea. We have all these PS5s and a pool, and of course for anyone who is conscious of their physique, gym, etc. But our focus is when we do go back, and whether people come to us full time or in a hybrid way, that they still have a comfortable and exciting place to work at. So that's it from us, and I would like to open the floor to any questions you have. Chatura, myself, Janaka, and Kanchana, we're here to assist you with as much as we can with answers to your questions.
When it comes to like people who work in creative space now, creative software, I just want to know that what kind of like spectrum of people just fit in, like what is like the farthest end of the spectrum, like who are the people who are working? Are these people who are coming from the software side, or is that, so can you please help me with that?
Well, if you must know, I am from a tech background, but I am in marketing. So is that spectrum enough? Right. So look, I think if there is a vertical that you really want to pursue, there is, and you have the right approach, and I think attitude and teamwork, lots of those soft skills come into play when you want to actually find out the path, if it is not straightforward. But we do have the options in-house to see if you want to pursue something else. I would like to give this over to Chatura and Janaka to answer.
Yeah, so maybe you answered certain bit of it already, Surangi, but if you are interested about technologies, like, you know, we work with like a lot of technologies, like when it comes to software development, we work with the Java stack, .NET stack, and at the same time, like, you know, front-end development stacks. And also in some projects, we work with AI, machine learning as well. So we have a lot of projects. I mean, there are a lot of teams working in different projects, focusing on different technical areas and also business domains. So yeah, so it's a very wide spectrum, I would say. Just that it depends on, like, you know, what skills you have and what opportunities we have at the time you are joining. Yeah, I mean that those two things will define, like, you know, where you can, you know, end up. So
yeah, just is it something like does it have to be with coding or something like that?
The question is not very clear to me. I'm sorry. Is it Ashan?
Yes. I mean, like, do every people who work in creative software needs to know about coding?
If you're asking if there are only technical positions available at Creative, for the most part, we service an international clientele, and we are an R&D center. So we do, most of our staff are technical people. If you're looking for, I am not certain if you're looking for a role like a BA role or project management role. Is that, am I understanding you correctly here?
Yeah, something like that.
Right. So look, for the most part, if you are a fresh graduate, you would join at a technical level in a different verticals, whether it is quality assurance or software development, or if it and business analyst roles, correct me if I'm wrong, Janaka and Chatura, there aren't many given our structure and the way we work with our clients. But in saying that, if you are the right, our hiring is not always specific. If you are the right candidate, and if there is opportunity for you to grow at Creative, you would also be considered as a whole person, right? So that's something that I would say that you can. But mainly, I think as a fresh graduate, our roles include software developers and quality assurance engineers, etc.
Yeah, let me add to that a bit as well, Surangi. Yes, as Surangi mentioned, like since we being a software development company primarily, I would say like 90% of the people we hire, they are like, with the software engineering background. So yes, when we hire fresh graduates or like, junior software engineers, they like, I would say like, 95 or 99% of the time they do code. But there are some opportunities for like people like QA engineers, and then 3D designers, graphic designers as well, who actually don't do coding, but work with other tools. But in general, one thing I can tell you is like when juniors join us, I mean, not only in creative, but anywhere in the industry, when fresh graduates join a tech company, they actually have to do a lot of hands-on technical stuff. Then only some of these other branches open up, like project management, business analysis, and stuff like that. So I would say like in most cases, fresh graduates actually start with hands-on coding roles, or else these designer or QA related roles, but not I mean not directly on it's very rare that we hire managers directly out of university. So I don't know how much I answered your question, but
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's something that I was expecting. Thank you.
Just to add a little bit to what you and Surangi were mentioning, to give you some examples, there are some QA engineers and also few BAs as well. And as Chatura mentioned, there are some UI and UX engineers, also 3D designers, and also based on the project's requirement, there are even some people with accounting background with some IT knowledge. So it's purely based on our business model to support what the customer requests, because our direct customer in most cases is a software company. So if they request, we need a person with a business background who has some IT skills, then we would hire that. So as they both mentioned, it depends on the time you're joining, but mainly it's a technical role.
Look, in terms of my advice to you is, it is always good to have some technical know-how if you are going to be in this vertical, because in order to understand a client's requirement, you need to have at some point have the ability to grasp what they want. And the business side alone, where most times projects run into issues, is when the business cannot communicate clearly to the technical team what it is that the business wants. But if the business has some technical know-how, then this marries well, and the requirement is translated well, and the tech team is able to do a proper requirement and understand it and deliver better, right? So that is something I would say that is important. There is a question, can first-year students apply for internships? Now, that really depends on your institute, right? We have mostly from the different universities, people apply to us in the last year of their degree or as a sandwich in the third year of their degree. Now, personally, I view this as an important thing because you have some of your base concepts in already when you come into work. Otherwise, you might run into frustrations not being able to understand and deliver the work that has been given to you. So at that point, you might actually be frustrated with the industry without reason. So if you come in the third year or in the final year, you have your basics, you have your object-oriented, you have a knowledge of how things work. And then it's easier to sort of polish off and round the edges, you know.
Madam, sorry to interrupt, but we have another question on the chat. Any advice to freshmen aiming for a development role career?
I can put this to either Chatura or Janaka.
That's a common question. To give you a quick answer on that, I would say, as Surangi mentioned correctly, if you can have an understanding on how businesses work, even in the smallest manner, that would really help when you join, even as a technical person. Because one of the ideas that students have is they just need the tech or only the technical knowledge to join as a software engineer. Of course you do, you need the basics, but when you don't have much of the business knowledge on how simple problems are being solved, how technology is being applied, then that would need some more experience where you would gradually gain to become a software engineer that the industry wants. So through the projects that you do, try to be more practical and try to apply the technology in a good way. So I would be talking on that on detail with the next session. So that's basically what I have to say.
So there are some other questions. Can you apply if you're a third year student? Certainly send your CVs through. We usually receive your CVs as a batch from whoever who is liaising with us. But please feel free to send us your CV if you're an internship student, and if you are the right candidate, we will be in touch. And we will see how well you fit in at Creative. Is it possible to apply for an internship related to systems admins or DevOps? Certainly. Again, it depends on the availability. So please send in your CVs if you're at the right stage in your undergraduate program. We would be happy to accommodate your CVs and go through them and see if there's any opportunities. Do you have any internships of cybersecurity engineering. Now, Chatura, do we have anything in that segment?
It's like this now. We don't have any immediate client related opportunities for cybersecurity engineers, but in our company, we are implementing the ISO 27001 standard for improving information security. And also you might have heard about GDPR as well, which is the European standard for protecting personal data. So as a part of those projects, there can be an opportunity inside the company for internships, but at this very moment, I can't actually confirm that, but there can be. So we'll get in touch with you if and when that opens up.
And there are some queries as to data science internships. Again, I would say if you are at the right time in your undergraduate program, do send us your CVs, and we will, if there are opportunities and if we have a place for you, we will be in touch. Now, we are not the company that will just say, come on in and just leave you hanging, because we do believe in, in being present in your internship. And if we are unable to mentor you, there is really no point in hiring you just because we want to put a name on your CV, right? So hence, we actually assess the requirements that we have so that you can actually have a hands-on experience when you work, and you will have an understanding what it is like to work in the industry. How can we send the CV to you? You can go to careers@creativesoftware.com. Please mention that what you're applying for, an internship, or whether it's a graduate position. And it will go through to our recruitment, and they will do the screening and be in touch with you.
Surangi,
yes.
Can I have in? Yeah. Coming back to this internships on data science, and you haven't mentioned, but I can tell you that if you are into machine learning and computer vision and also data science, yes, we have internships. Please do send us the CVs, and we will be able to give opportunities. Not to a whole lot, but we'll be able to screen you, and
yes.
Yeah.
The last set of interns had a fabulous opportunity.
Exactly. Yes.
One of our clients, and they were very, actually very lucky to have that opportunity. So there are those opportunities that present themselves. So please do, like Chatura said, send your CVs through to us. There's a question, public relations, internship positions. So that would come under me. If you would like to apply, I would be happy to look at your CV and see if there's a slot that we can accommodate you. And our internships usually are dictated by the institute we work with. Some internships are 6 months, some internships are 12 months. And as I've seen over the last, we've had interns asking to extend their internships. I think they're very comfortable working with us. But generally, it is 6 and 12-month internships. But if it's anything shorter that you're looking at, please do contact us. But honestly, as an internship, I don't think 3 months is long enough, right? If you are going to work on a project, for you to actually get to know about the business and to get hands-on, it would take you, the fastest 6 weeks, I would say. So it would be good to work for at least 6 months.
Surangi?
Yes.
There was a question on saying, are there any chances for students with bioscience background? Let me quickly give an answer.
Yes.
So normally there aren't many specific vacancies like that. But if you take, for example, the project that I'm working with, or the Cambio and the DIPS projects, which is based on a healthcare IT company, we do have to learn the medical terminologies from the ground up. So if you have some knowledge, that would really help. And even now we are trying to get in contact with the bioinformatics degrees. There's one in University of Colombo, where there are some IT subjects along with bio subjects. So you can make your background to your advantage if you do some bit of homework and continue.
Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, it really depends on how you want. Learners are learners, and learners can learn across verticals. And that is a good habit, because one thing is certain in tech, it will change. And if you are going to stick to one thing and not change, you possibly will not have an opportunity to work in 10 years' time. So, you know, I don't think Chhatra and Janaka as a dinosaur as I am, but yes, learning and growing and relearning and adapting is how tech has got to this stage, and it will, you know, go on a trajectory that is, you know, is beyond us. But to keep up, the only requirement is an open mind and the ability to flex. Any other questions? Moderators, how are we doing?
Madam, we have another question on the chat. How do you support entrepreneurship within the company?
That is a good question. And our company is very open to entrepreneurs. And Janaka will be talking to you a little more about actually sailing that ship. There's more to entrepreneurship than actually being technical. And business is business knowledge, and the ability to market your idea will see its success. We have a program, for example, Layup, which is now headed by Dino Correa, was actually brought to us, and we invested in that idea. So we have an idea lab. If you have what you think is a good idea, and you have thought about made a business plan, there's always opportunity. Our doors are open for you to bring your ideas in and to have a discussion around how to take that forward. So that is one thing that Sri Lanka needs: entrepreneurs, creative ideas, to change from just being in the service sector and to building more product and having IP in the country. So absolutely, if you have it, we would be happy to provide mentorship in certain areas to take that idea forward.
And to add to that, Surangi, I think yes, as Surangi mentioned, like we support employees who are having such great ideas. And the good thing about bringing up with, taking those ideas out is while being in creative software is like you have this cushion where you will not fall onto the floor unlike you do it yourself, because you will anyway be part of the company anyways, but at the same time you will have the support from a 20-year-old company which has a lot of experience dealing with clients and even Sri Lankan authorities and stuff like that. So you have all the I mean, there will be a lot of people to support if you come up with the idea while being inside creative software. So
yeah,
it's an advantage, I believe.
absolutely. There's another question. As a company, what are the skills and abilities expected from a data science undergraduate who is to join as an intern? Chatura or Janaka, are there specifics that we look for, or?
Give me a moment, Surangi, to go through the question. Yeah, so from an intern, we don't actually expect a lot, but of course we expect them to know the basics of data science and basic tools and even languages, like if you have basic knowledge in Python and R and stuff like that, that would be really advantageous. What's most important is that you know the concepts and understand what data science is and what needs to be achieved, and that's the basic requirement, because from an intern we don't expect anything more than that. So during the internship you will be getting training and the chance to work in real life projects and stuff like that. So yeah, basics.
And that is the real gold.
Yeah, exactly.
That is actually what you should pursue when you work in the industry, because your technical know-how is a personal pursuit. You can make it better, right, by yourself. But how to work in a team, how to understand, how to resolve problems when they arise, how to think on your feet, that you can only get by actually working with the team and working on a project, working with a real life client who may have had a bad day and have bitten your head off. And what do you do when you do that? Do you lose yourself, or so this is real life, right? And this is an internship is also to provide you the tools of coping and not being discouraged and learning those things so that you can move forward in a career. You are just starting. Your work life is going to be long and interesting with its own hills and valleys. So right now, look for the holistic when you do go for your internships.
We have another question. I'm having business administration knowledge along with the computer knowledge. Are there any opportunities currently available?
It is difficult to say off the top of my head, but what I would encourage you to do is, if you do have business administration and computer knowledge, and is this an internship that we're talking about? Or is it full-time employment? Inuka, was it you who asked the question?
Actually, it was, he's actually searching for full-time employment opportunities.
Right. Okay, so why don't you send your CV across and we will see what opportunities. That is the only way that, because like Janaka mentioned earlier, our business model works in such a way that our internship requirements come from our client, right? So if you have an interest in pursuing an internship with us, send us your CV and we will consider it seriously, and we will get back to you about whether there is an opportunity with us or not. And there is James who asks if you can have an internship overseas, as in you are here and you can do your internship elsewhere, or you are elsewhere and you can do your internship with us. Could you clarify that for me, please, James?
Hello, and a quick reminder to everyone, please feel free to unmute yourselves and clarify any doubts that you have.
James, if you are asking if you can have an internship, a remote internship, which is currently everybody, you want to do your internship abroad. Right now, we can't leave the country. So that is not possible. I don't think it is possible presently. And also in terms of creative, I am unsure that that has been a case. There are various reasons for that, James, including visas and how countries process visas, and they may not grant you a visa if you don't have permanent employment. So internships overseas might not be something that is possible.
We also have another question. What other special qualifications are you looking for besides a degree, specifically a software engineering degree?
To me personally, to answer your question, I always look for learners with a great attitude, because I feel there are people who will just want to know how it works and find a solution. And if they have a great attitude, when they fail, they look at the next best thing and move on. And eventually they'll get you the answer that you're looking for. And that is a trait that I find works in most industries. I'm not saying you can be completely blank about your basics, but I don't think that will be the case in this forum, because you are all undertaking degree programs, so you would have some basis. So personally, if you have a great attitude and you're willing to learn, I think the sky is your limit.
Yeah, just to add on that, I think Surangi was spot on that answer. I also think attitude is the key if you are to be highlighted along many others who have the same skills on paper. Yeah.
Why?
And then,
sorry,
Surangi.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and then, yes, definitely, I think attitude is the number one. And then another thing that goes along with technical skills is communication skills. So we need, yeah, that's a very important thing, because we work with a lot of foreign clients who don't understand our mother language, unfortunately. So communication, not only in English, but also in your mother language as well, to work with your colleagues. But at the same time, communication in English is also very important. So pay your attention to that as well while you're studying the technical stuff.
Don't look at learning another language, a second language like English, as something that is a burden. It is actually learning a second language, and being proficient in it means that you have an added advantage over even native English speakers, right? And as long as it is Sri Lanka that you're working in, we will always service an international segment, and the normalizer is English, whether they're Scandinavian, whether it's US, whether it's, because we will never learn Japanese. Well, Mandarin, I don't know, we might one day be forced to, but if you have reasonable skills in the English language, written and spoken, the ability for you to scale would be far greater. So that would be a great advice at whichever level you are. Focus on it, because those who can communicate are able to go further with, especially communicating with our clients.
We have another question. I think this is really interesting. What happens to software developers when they reach their middle ages and their base technologies are outdated? For example, what happened to the graduates from early 2000s who learned .NET VB, C++?
You are looking at them. I think I graduated before most of you were born, right? Look, you really, like, that's why we're telling you, you really have to learn to pivot, right? You have to be able to learn what's new and not be close-minded. Be interested. If tech is your thing, be interested in what's next and what's happening, and learn the lingo, learn about yourself. If you are someone who wants to stay in tech, and you know, you will grow in that line. And if you then find out, I am mentoring 4 undergraduates at University of Kelaniya. And after being in lockdown for a year, one of them said, "Ma'am, I've decided this software thing is not for me. I can't sit in front of a computer the whole day. I've decided I want to do something else in technology where I talk to people." And that is self-discovery. And that is this, whatever you pick right now, you will be doing for a long time. So, but in saying that, doesn't mean that if you pick wrong, that you're stuck there. If you, again, have the right mindset, you can change and you can grow. I am a good example of that.
Yeah, sorry. Just to add on that, so I can give some examples on what I learned. I started with some languages you might not have heard. It's called Pascal. It's not there anymore. Then my first job had, yes, Visual Fox Pro, which was discontinued by Microsoft in 2008. And then on this next job, it was called Centura, which I did for like 6-7 years at IFS, and it is not being used in anywhere else in the world. And it is also discontinued. But the basics won't leave you if you know how to learn the next thing. It is not a matter of trying to learn one thing for the whole of your life. So as Surangi mentioned earlier, the change is the one that will happen throughout your career. So embrace the change and be ready to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me add a bit to that as well, Surangi and Janaka. Like, yes, that's what definitely you have to do, like Surangi and Janaka correctly mentioned. And at the same time, there can be other branches that you can try out as well. For example, in my case, I worked started as a software engineer, and then when went up in the ladder in the technical track until I became a tech lead, and then I switched to being a team lead at Creative Software, and then got promoted as a project manager. Then I got qualified myself with PMP, as you may know. Like, you can do stuff like that, and get yourself qualified in other areas if you're interested in things like that. For example, if you are interested in project management, you can do like certifications like that and get yourself qualified, and then move into the management track, which is also quite exciting at times. So there are other avenues as well. So you don't have to get stuck in technology, technical roles all the time. So if you get fed up with technology at a certain point in time in life or in your career, then there are other avenues as well.
And take the time right now in your life when you don't have kids and you don't have a lot on your plate and you have a lot of free time to self-assess and know what your skills are, what you like doing. And I don't mean that in a whimsical way, right? Sometimes we can't just do what we like doing. Sometimes we have to do what we should do. But when you know your personality and when you know where you're willing to actually grow, when you see an opportunity, you can pursue it. But if you don't have an understanding of yourself and how much you like doing something or how quickly you will know how you adapt to certain situations quickly or how you're able to grasp certain concepts quickly. And that is not saying one is above the other. We all need different people to make this whole thing work, right? If not for Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak would not even be known, right? So that's how life is. And even though he's known as a tech genius, he was mostly a marketer. He used to come up on stage in a black t-shirt and sell you the most expensive phone or device on the planet, and people regularly bought all of it, which made Apple very, very successful. But you have to run your own race, know yourself. These things will never go out of fashion. Whether tech, like you said, we learned .NET, we learned C#, whatever. Over the years, it's just all just names now. They're just labels. But what is true is we have kept a good attitude. We have had to look at ourselves and know ourselves and see where we can flourish, right? And that's advice to you right now. Those are things that you can do to base your future on those things.
And don't worry too much about the future.
Yes.
Because it's uncertain.
Don't worry. Because nobody knows it. I mean, last year, February, who knew that we would all have to sit at home and be locked down for months on end? So yeah, things are unpredictable. And so that's our collective advice to you, that keep an open mind, be ready to learn new things, a good attitude. Those are important things. I hope we were helpful in answering your questions to your satisfaction. If you, as I said, please be in touch if you have any questions, and if you want to pursue an internship with us seriously. The screen I've shared has a careers email, which will come to our recruitment staff. So please be in touch. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Surangi and Mr. Janaka, and also Mr. Chatura, for a very insightful session. I hope everyone was inspired by that.